It's time for us to build a graphical user interface, one that the user could interact with at any moment, rather than being always given options and come back to the same page and so forth, so on. Console has its limitations and we're kind of starting to see it. What if we wanted to do more than just one thing? What if we wanted to see more than one thing? Do we have to always wait for that console to refresh itself? Come in many libraries of Java, which allows us to create a graphical user interface, and you could decide which one you want to utilize. In this course for now, we're going to utilize Swing, which is derived from AWT. Now, anything that's related to Swing is called something, it starts with the J. So let's say, as an example, we have JFrame, and anything that's inside, let's say, AWT, which the one I don't want you to use, will start without the J, such as this frame. Now, if you look over here, even the IntelliSense, you could see right now there's frame and there's JFrame. Frame comes from the package java.awt, but JFrame comes from javax.swing. So this distinction is important. If it doesn't start with a J, most likely we did something wrong. And as always, we could just check out the package to make sure that we're in the correct package. Now, Swing comes with a lot of libraries, or a lot of classes. I'm sorry, it is a library. It comes with a lot of classes that could help us build almost anything. The only thing it takes is a bit of time to understand what's there, read some documentations, read some information about it, see how it's utilized, and test. Okay. Swing is powerful in its own way. What we need to do though is to kind of edit the J class. Let me rephrase. What we need to do is not utilize it directly, like let's say from this, but to extend the JFrame and create our own customizable class. This is important because there's a lot of boilerplate code that's going to be shown, and this could cause a lot of issues. So let's try this boilerplate code just to show you what it is, and then we're going to go making our own classes. So inside this parameter, we're going to do Control P, and we could see that there's 4 overloads, and one of them is the title. I like that. So this would be window title here, whatever that is. Now, for the JFrame to actually, well, if we run it right now, just to show you, if we run it right now, nothing's going to happen really. There's our application and it closed. This is because this is not how JFrame is utilized. One thing we need to do at the end, as always, is to just say JFrame dot set visibility to true, because by default it's false. And again, we're going to get something in the corner screen here. But you could see we finally got a window. Let me just make it a bit bigger. We got a window that started at the top left corner, and you could see the title is there, and it's finally set to visible. And notice our console, it's kind of blocked. Well, there's a lot of code running in the background, right? We're utilizing another library. We don't really know exactly how it's going in the background, but most likely it's like an infinite loop where it's asking you, what have you done? Have you pressed the X button, right? Have you done this, that, etc. Notice that right now, even though I pressed the X button, my application did not close. Well, this is because we just set the visibility back to false. So what we need to do is to set the, set the closing action. So when it closes, what should happen? When the X button is done, what should happen? And again, here, I've done this a little bit, so I'm kind of familiar with it, but you should start reading the instructions, such as doing Control Q to see what kind of values we could put in there. And you could see here it's telling you all the choices. A lot of your job will be about research, R&D, reading, understanding, utilizing. So here we have 4 options that we could do 4 actions that could be possible as an answer to this operation. Set the default close operation. What do I want? Well, do I want to exit on the close? Do I want to hide it? Do I want to do nothing? Do I want to dispose on close? Right? In this case, let's go ahead and exit our application. Cool. So now if I do the same thing and I run it and I press close, well, you'll notice that my application actually ends this time. This is an important thing. Now we could set the size as well. So jframe.setSize. And you notice there is an overload of set size. We could give it a dimension. This is another object they created. You could look into what it does, or we could directly just set the width and height. Let's set it to 500, 500. Run it again. Make sure it's not too big, not too small. You could see the IntelliSense is popping up the width and the height. This is not me who typed those. And you could see the size being 500 now. Now, for everything inside JFrame, there is an option to do that. So if you have some imagination of something you want to do, just do a little bit of Google search to figure it out. I cannot cover everything that a JFrame does. It's exhausting and long, and I will not do that. Last thing I want to do is we could set a position, right? So we could say position, or let's just do position. Let's see what we get. So here we got a get mouse position. We got a post event, which if you see the line over it, this means it's deprecated. So we don't want to use any of those. Dispose is focus. This is not what we want. So when we don't find something, we need to again go Google, figure out what that we're looking for. And normally, oh, actually, sorry. Yeah, we have our size. So position, I don't remember. I think so one thing we could do, at least for now, we'll set the position a bit later, is we could center our application rather than its top left over here. We could do that by setting the location relative to something, and in this case we're going to set it relative to null, which will bring it to the middle. Okay? So just to get a window without any real code for any application, we already had to do these 5 lines, right? It's a lot of boilerplate code that's going to become. But it's powerful because we got to create a window with just 5, 6 lines. To be honest, if you go into a bit more lower level where you actually can build your own graphics and all this, just to get a window without even the X or the minimize or the maximize or the title, that would take you like 30, 40, 50 lines, right? So it's a really powerful tool that could allow us to create bigger and more complex application. And that's going to be in the next videos. See you then.